Hi everyone, welcome to IST 495. This is the internship course, and I am Professor Lane, and I'm going to be your faculty instructor, faculty supervisor that will monitor and assess everything that you are going to be submitting during your internship. In this video, I want to go through with you the Canvas course base, introduce to you the requirements, show you where things are, and get you acquainted and get you started. First things first is when you sign in to our Canvas space, you're going to see the modules page. And the first thing that you see is the introduction module. And so in this module, there is a link to the syllabus. I expect you to read through that so you can see the course policies and expectations and university policies as well. This file here is a really important file, and we're going to take a look at this file next. All right, so this is really the nuts and bolts of what you are going to be following as you were going through your internship. So I tried to break it down into categories to better organize, and so what I want to do is go through each of these with you. So the first thing is the introduction module, and I want you to go through and complete and read through all the information in here. The things that you will be submitting are going to be your internship details questionnaire, and you're going to introduce yourself to your fellow interns, and you're all interning at different places, and so it'll be interesting for you to learn about where others are interning and seeing what their focus is going to be. So these are going to be the two deliverables for here, but that does not mean that you just skip right to them. Please go through and read everything, all right? As I go back to our internship guidelines and requirements page, that's what I ask you to do here, all right? So this has resources related to the internship, all right, and some valuable information. What is most valuable in the introduction module is the information regarding deferred grades, all right? And again, I'm going to pop on back to that, and that it has to do with if you are unable to finish your 300 hours in the 12-week period, right? That's what the deferred grade is all about. And what that exactly means is that if you haven't completed all the items by the time this term is officially over, as an instructor, I need to submit a grade. And if you don't have everything in at that point, what I enter in is referred to as a DF. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up as well and explain this to you. So you need to successfully turn in all the deliverables, all right? The big ones are the weekly logs, your mid-evaluation, your final evaluation, and your reflection report. There are a few others, okay? Minor, smaller, I should say, smaller activities, but these are the four big ones. But if you don't have all the information in at that time, I simply put in a DF, and it doesn't mean that you failed. It just means that your grade at this time is deferred until you have supplied all of the requirements. You have 10 weeks from the official last day of class to submit that. If you are graduating, then that's a different timeline, all right? That's a shorter timeline. So if that applies to you, we will talk about when that information has to be submitted, okay? And so if you don't submit everything in after the 10-week period, then it automatically gets converted to an F, all right? Have I ever seen that happen? No, it has not happened. So, but what has happened is that students are not able to get everything in by the time I need to submit a grade, and so therefore there is a DF in there, and it's just a placeholder until you get all of the requirements satisfied, okay? So that is the big piece really under the introduction module. There's a lot of important information there, so I ask you to go through and read all of that. The next component are your weekly logs. So every week you will submit a log, and there is a template that you will follow, and there is a link. As you look at the course, it is broken down into 12 weeks, and this is because we have 12 weeks in our summer session. And as you can see, most weeks you are submitting a log, other weeks you have additional activities. So our weekly logs, as I mentioned, you're going to submit at the end of each work week, depending upon when you start. All right, so ideally the first week should be the first week that the term begins. For some students, that might be next week. For some students, it may have started last week. And so if that is you, then you need to simply submit those logs with the dates when they are due. Right? So, and as I mentioned, if it's a 15-week session, we have a full 15 weeks. Roughly, you're going to be working 20 hours a week. Because this is a summer session, most students are going to be working a minimum of 25 hours a week. Some students will be working as much as 40 hours a week, a full work week, right? So if you are working more than 25 hours, you are going to reach your logs a lot quicker, all right? And so once you actually complete your full 300 hours, you no longer have to create your weekly log reports. In the gradebook, these get marked as excused, okay? So anything that is outstanding, which means that you've already satisfied, I just convert that to as excused. All of your logs are due at the time of completion, right? So at the end of your week 1 work week, you submit your log by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. If you submit these late, they will be subject to a late penalty. They must be turned in the week that you work. In addition to your weekly logs, you're going to be completing 2 site interviews. Now, the purpose of this is for you to learn about the organization or agency or program and see and meet different people in the industry and learn from their experiences and look at their perspectives. And so they can be anyone. You can interview any individual within the organization. It could be a department head, it could be an admin, it could be a fellow intern, all right, from a different college. It cannot be from Penn State, okay? So if it's another peer, it has to be from another university, right? So you will be submitting 2 interviews. When you look at the assignment link, there are full instructions on there. Please review those to get the full details. The first interview is going to be due on or before week 4, and interview 2 is going to be due on or before week 9. I expect these to be well written, proper grammar and punctuation. I expect you to spell check. So again, they do have rubrics. The assignments have rubrics. So make sure you look at the rubric if you are unsure of the expectation, and please read the instructions fully. You will have 2 supervisor site evaluations, all right? And the first evaluation is going to be at when you have completed 150 hours, and the second one will be completed at the end when you have successfully completed 300 hours. Both of these evaluations are completed by your site supervisor. You are responsible as the student to provide them with the form that they are to complete, the evaluation form, and that is contained in the assignment link instructions. So in order to locate those, you can go there, right? These also must be submitted at the time of completion. So when you have completed your 150 hours within 7 days, that should be in my inbox. All right, so make sure that you have that and you supply that form to your site supervisor. The next item is what we call a KSA checklist. This is a knowledge, skills, and ability checklist. This is an actual tool that we use to assess your competencies in specific areas or type of task or related job. And so with IT and cyber, we have outlined a number of skills and knowledge and abilities that you should be familiar with in order to be in a cyber or IT role successfully. And so you are going to print out this PDF and you are going to have a one-on-one with your site supervisor at the beginning of your internship, and you're going to review the checklist. And then periodically throughout your internship, you can decide what that timeline looks like. I have given you some markers in the weekly modules. These are just markers, reminders, asking you to meet with your site supervisor to review the KSA checklist. Once you have completed your 300 hours, again, you will do a final checklist with your site supervisor, and your site supervisor will sign off that you reviewed these skills. The final deliverable that you need to complete for the internship is the intern experience report. This is a report that has detailed instructions. There is a template that you can download and follow, and there are questions within the template that you are to answer. And so as you are going through and completing your weekly logs, you will be writing your reflection. A lot of what you're going to be writing in those weekly logs is going to be helpful for you when it comes time to complete the internship experience report. So make sure you give yourself plenty of details so that way you are able to write a very well-written, cohesive report on your experience. Please see the individual link for the full instructions. This reflection report is due within 1 week of completing your 300 hours. So once you complete your internship, you have within a week to complete the remainder of the requirements. It is important that you note that you cannot pass the internship without completing all of the academic course assignment requirements. That means all the items found in the introduction module, your weekly logs totaling 300 hours, 2 site interviews, your mid-evaluation and your final evaluation, the submission of your signed KSA checklist, and your internship report. All of those items need to be submitted. If only one is missing, you do not pass. All right? So I need you to understand that that needs to be complete. So as you go through, you will see that everything is broken down. What I've just reviewed with you is this file here, right? And so as you come down through our modules list, you can see that everything is broken down into weeks. And again, you will notice there are no due dates because everyone has a different start date. So therefore, there are no due dates, but you are held accountable for getting your work in at the time that you have identified on your log details. So here you can see I just put in a reminder. There is the KSA checklist. Week 2 comes, you're going to complete your log, submit your log by the end of week 2, and so on. And then you can see right about where I've asked for your on or before week 4, you will have submitted your first interview, and then on or before week 9, you will have submitted your second interview. As we come on down, here again you can see are some reminders, your weekly logs, and your final week, which is a big week because you have a lot of deliverables. making sure you have your signed KSA checklist, you're giving your site supervisor the evaluation form to complete and submit, and then for you to write and prepare your reflection report. Okay, so I wanted to go through this with you to give you an idea of how to best navigate this. All right, again, because we don't have any due dates in there, so it is your responsibility to come in here every week and submit your weekly logs. If you have any questions, I prefer that you contact me through the Canvas inbox. I will post announcements for some reminders, so when you see those posted, make sure that you read those. Okay, so good luck with your internship this summer, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you very much.